Viewer requested video. We are going to make Campfire in a Can. Obviously we're going to need a can, a soup can, or anything that has vegetables or had vegetables in it. It'll work perfectly. Just make sure you clean the little booger out. Let's take a look at the tools you will need for this project. Sharpie, tin snips, scissors, gloves, cardboard, and some discarded candles, which you could find just about anywhere. Just ask your friends for them, and I'm sure they'll have some candles laying around. Okay, let's get started. And we've cleaned our can out without a problem. Now, you do have to cut the can down. If you do not cut the can down and leave it all the way up and pack it full of cardboard, when the fire gets halfway down, it pretty much puts itself out because there's not enough oxygen in there. So I've already put a mark where I want to mark it at, and we're going to follow this ring all the way around and mark our can with a Sharpie. Then, here comes the fun part. We need to cut that ring out. So this first part we're going to cut here is this top ring on the top of the can. It's kind of a little bit of a bugger to get cut. And what we're going to do is cut what is called relief cuts. We're just going to cut around in a circle and get some of that tin out of the way. We'll do the same thing on this side right here. And we're going to start cutting the ring. And be very careful, if you would please. These edges are extremely sharp. Okay, we've got our ring cut out. Now don't worry about if there's some sharp edges on there, because once you pour the wax in there, it flows over the side, it takes care of that. Next project, we're going to cut our cardboard. It goes on the inside. Simply just going to take the little can here and make marks on our cardboard to about where we're going to want to cut it. And grabbing the scissors, we're just going to cut that out real quick. After cutting our cardboard out, we are going to roll it. Actually, yeah, let's use this one. Put it in a very tight roll, as tight as you can get it. There you go, nicely tightly rolled. Now, this can is actually going to take 2 pieces of cardboard. So, took the other one we just cut out, and I'm going to put it on there, loop it underneath, and, of course, continue rolling. Okay, once we got it all rolled up, we've got to simply just put it in the can. Be careful, edges are sharp. We're going to put this edge in first, and then somewhat work the other edges in there. And just twist, and our cardboard is in. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we're going to make a little bitty wick. It makes them a lot easier to light. So we'll just take a little bit off this end here. Got that. Take our scissors, wedge them in there, make a little groove there. And a little groove there looks good. Slide into cardboard. Do the same on the other side. Okay, there we go. We have our little wick. It makes it easier to light. I've got several of these to do today. Here we go. Okay, now we've got the can prepped with the cardboard, the wick. Next thing we need to do is we need to start boiling our water. And we got our makeshift stove ready here. Now I bet you're wondering, why did I say boiling water? Well, simple. You cannot melt hot wax over an open flame. It's just too darn dangerous. Unfortunately, what happens is it'll boil over and come down and hit the flame, and you'll have a nice little kitchen fire that's a pain in the ass to put out. So we got an old pot right here, and I've got it halfway full of water. So let's get our stove fired up. And we're going to bring that up to a roaring bubble. Now the trick to putting water in there, you want enough water for the can to go in there, but you don't want the can to float like that. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of that out. You'll see why here when it starts boiling. It starts shaking all over the place. There we go. And actually we're going to be doing two of these today. I'm going to be doing this glass one here in a little bit. This is the same concept of using this can. Just put it in there and let it melt, but you want to do a lower temperature so the glass don't break. Okay, all we got to do is basically sit back and wait for this to come up to a roaring boil. And once that does that, we'll back the heat down to just as kind of a simmer and let that candle wax melt. We are at a roaring bubble, and that's too much of a roaring bubble. So we're just simply going to turn this down. That looks about right. And in no time at all, we will have us some wax. A couple important warnings real quick. Do not walk away from your project. The wax could actually heat up to its flash point, catching fire, or you could boil the water out of the pan. Now, I want to show you something real quick. If you notice, in the pan, there's going to be a little bit of wax left over from some of my other projects, and it dripped down on the side of the can. What you want to do is let this water cool down, and the wax will float to the top, and you just pour it out or scrape it out, and then repeat the boil a couple other times, and you should be able to get the wax out of there with no problems at all. Or just use an old pan and really don't care about it. Okay, let's get started. So we got this candle, or this campfire in a can right here. This is the one we're going to pour our wax in. I'm going to set it there, and this is where the glove comes in very handy, so I don't burn my freaking hand. And if you notice on this can I'm going to be using to pour out of, I put a little pour spout on there. So we're simply just going to fill this little guy up. Start from the center, kind of work our way out, and it'll probably take all this wax. And make sure you get your little cardboard wick there. And we're going to fill it all the way to the top. See how it's coming out right there? And it is definitely full. Now all you have to do is just pretty much wait for that little guy to cool down. And if you see some open spots like right over here and over there, we'll just simply pour a little more wax in there and make sure it's all the way full. There we go. And it usually takes a couple hours to cool down, or if you really want to, you could probably shove that sucker in the freezer and it'll cool down a lot faster. Alright, there we go. We have made Campfire in a Can. And of course I recycle all the wax on my cardboard here. Okay, it'll burn for at least 2 to 3 hours with no problems at all. It leaves a little bit of wax on the ground after it does burn. You can use them for cooking. I do recommend only boiling water because it does put out a lot of black smoke and it'll put soot on your pot. So there you go, Campfire in a Can. Any questions? Put them in the comment section. Like always, friends, thanks for watching.